All right, I tried to sit down and do this video this morning. It didn't work. It didn't work. The morning got too fast paced. I read day 3 in the book Draw the Circle. I did a little bit of study time in my Bible. I looked up and went, oh, I got to go. And so I didn't get to make the video. Long day, one thing happened after another. End up putting the kids to bed, going to the gym, getting a workout, sitting in the hot tub at the gym. And I got to kind of rekindle some of the thoughts from this morning. So more fresh than ever, but I think it's like 10:30 right now. So it is pretty late. But I wanted you and I to discuss day 3 in the book Draw the Circle as we're going through this 40-day prayer challenge. One of the things I love is how the chapter opens up. It's a quote from D.L. Moody. It says, "The world is yet to see what God will do with and for and through and in and by the man or woman who is fully and wholly consecrated to Him." That word consecrate just keeps coming up in this chapter, and it actually kept coming up in some of my recent conversations, which I'll tell you about in a second. But it says, all of us want to do amazing things for God, but that isn't our job. That's God's job. In fact, I find in my own life when I try to do amazing things, I usually just get in the way. He's actually placed gifts inside of me that if I just operate in the doors that open up, if I just operate in the opportunities that He places me in, then things start to gain momentum. Then things start to move forward. A lot of times when I feel like I'm running up against a brick wall, it's because I am trying to operate in my own strength. I could tell you some serious stories about that. But let's look at this word, consecrate. I was actually talking to a young man today, and we were talking about the word conform, conforming to the world. Where in our lives do we not look different than the world? Where are we conforming to culture? Because culture has this magnet that's pulling us, and we've got to work to really set ourselves apart from culture. So you have conform on one side, and you have consecrate on the other. To be like, conform, consecrate, to set yourself apart, to surrender, to be designated for a special purpose. This is where we relinquish everything to God. Our time, our talent, our treasure. It does not belong to us. It belongs to Him. And that's very hard to do. And you don't have to do it once. You have to do it daily. It's very hard to do daily. But I think today's chapter was a good reminder of that. That when we set our will aside in the morning and we say, God, what do you want me to do this morning? You know what that does? It actually leads to answers to a lot of the prayers. Because a lot of the things that I've written down in the past, as I've done this devotional and other devotionals, especially the 40-day ones, because that's a longer period of time, a lot of the things don't happen right away. But it's this, then this, then this, then this, and then the door opens. It's what I found. But why don't we do it? That's what I love. As I was flipping to the next page, I was thinking about this morning. Why don't we do it? If it's happened in the past, if God has come through in a big way in the past, why do we still fight it? Why do we still resist it? And I love how Mark Batterson puts it here. He says, I know there is a fear that if we give more of ourselves to God, there will be less left for us. But it's the exact opposite. We think, I'm going to run out of energy. I'm not going to have any strength left. I'm going to be so gassed doing what He's asking me to do, I'm not going to have any time for myself. Not true. I'm not going to have any money for myself. Not true. I'm not going to have any of my gifts left over for me. Not true. When we give, we find that we have a surplus. I find that I come to life. I find that resources I didn't even know I have. And that's because you're operating in total trust. So often in life, I get those moments where I feel like I am overwhelmed. I can't do one more thing. And that's when I know that I'm conforming. I was talking to a guy yesterday. I said, do we want to be famous or faithful? I think if we want to be famous, we fall on the conforming side. If we want to be faithful, we fall in the consecrate side. So I have to ask myself, am I trying to be famous or faithful? Because if I'm trying to be faithful, the Bible says at the right time. If you humble yourself and you are faithful at the right time, God will lift you up. I think that's just a word of encouragement for us to keep doing what we are doing. Keep operating in the gifts He's given us and keep praying for Him to move in a mighty way. Well, it closes out, it says, if we give more of ourselves to God, God will give more of Himself to us. One of the things I love about doing a 40-day prayer challenge like this is it's on my mind throughout the day. Throughout the day. Especially when I got to make a video about it. Hope that encourages you today. It's about bedtime. I'll see you tomorrow.